Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video of the Executive Elevation Engine. Today is Pillar 6, the final pillar. You've made it. And today's pillar is going to be Legacy and Self-Leadership. This is going to tie in everything that we have been talking about for the past 5 pillars. So before we do go ahead and get started, some housekeeping rules that I would like to ask for you guys. Number 1 is, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and click on that subscribe button. It takes less than 2 seconds and it helps me grow this channel and help you individuals out more. Number 2, if you have not yet watched the previous videos, please go back and watch those previous videos before you come to this, because this is the final pillar video and every single video adds on to the previous videos and we go from there. So now that we have housekeeping out of the way, we can go ahead and get started with pillar 6. So today's agenda, guys, in terms of what we will be discussing about, we'll talk about the law of the lid, we'll talk about the obsolescence gap, we'll talk about the evolution curve, we'll talk about the protocols of self-renewal, and lastly, we'll talk about the legacy audit. So first things first, guys. So we need to discuss about the organization can only grow as fast as you do. So what happens with a lot of leaders nowadays is they believe that they're the one-man show, and without them, nothing goes. They're the best decision maker and they must be involved in everything. And you must ask the bottleneck question, right? Because if a company keeps hitting the same revenue ceiling, it's because of the leader. The leader has hit an emotional ceiling themselves. And that's what they need to look in the mirror and not necessarily look at the market thinking that there's something wrong there. No, the issue is actually you. And the answer to your question, it comes down to either you evolve or you stay the same, or you get removed by your company. And that's not what we want. So if we look at the right side here, at the visual, right, we've got the market potential, which is huge because there's always going to be potential in the market. There's going to always be opportunities that you can chase after. But as we go down, if the leadership capacity is only so much, you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. Your results will probably be minuscule, or probably no results at all, which will lead us in the negative, which we do not want. So we have to look at stability. And a lot of the times, a lot of leaders believe that the thought of sticking to something for a very long time is going to be the way to win it. And recent studies have shown that the S&P 500, one of the largest index funds in this US stock market, the tenure of investors involved in there has gone from 60 years all the way down to 15 years. And the reasoning is because there are so many other opportunities, so many options that you can invest in. And that is because of the currency value that you have today is adaptability. Not because you have leverage on these other things. No, it's about how quick can you adapt to the ever-changing landscape out there. And that's why it's so important for leaders to take this example and understand that things will always move really quickly. And you have to be able to adapt and change your process, your path based off of those approaches that come into play. But not obviously giving up your big vision, your big North Star, but adapting to the ever-changing environment and aligning your company, your people on the right path. Now, the shadow tax. The shadow tax is when a leader stops learning. Leaders, you always have to continue learning. You don't know everything. You can learn something from every single individual. And the tax that you're going to pay on that is missed opportunities and lost talent. If you think you're the smartest one in the room, trust me, you're in the wrong room, or you just have the wrong mindset. And the warning label that you're going to get asked is, what got you here is now the anchor that's holding you back. So really, you have to choose which path that you want to go with, which is adapting to the ever-changing environment, or believing that what got you to this point is exactly going to keep working for the rest of next 10 years, 20, 50, 60 years. No, that's not going to happen. You should probably go with option 1 and adapt to the ever-changing environment. There are 3 stages of executive evolution. So I'm going to start from the top down. So number 1 is there's a leader that's the type as the operator. So this leader focuses on execution and problem solving. Now, the issue here that they have in their mind is that if they don't do it, the job won't get done. It won't get done right. And the result is, sure, you're the one who solved the problem, you're the one who gets the spotlight, but you're also the bottleneck because you're the one stopping your people from actually growing and getting the job done. Then we have the architect. Now, this individual is very strong. This individual focuses on systems and strategy. But the issue here is when you have a great system and strategy, you think to yourself, this is a perfect plan. Why isn't my organization following it? Why are people not buying into this? And that results into you having a great vision, but low adoption, which is not what we want. Now, number 3 is the catalyst. This is where we want to focus our energy on. So this individual focuses on influence, energy, and culture. So this leader here, the catalyst, folks are willing to understand this person. They're willing to trust this person. They're not scared of this person because they trust in their instinct of being able to lead the organization in the proper path. Not saying this is the most smartest individual, not at all. This person may not even have the skills of an architect or an operator, but this person knows how to guide and influence people. This results in an infinite scale. This results in your business growing without you directly touching it. Guys, the goal of this is to have a business that lasts longer than you. You actually want a business can go past. You want people to grow in the business so you don't always constantly have to be a bottleneck. So you want to be able to focus on being that catalyst leader that people trust, and they just know that they can respect you and trust your guidance to get them to that big North Star. Now that we understand the different types of stages of a leader, we must ask ourselves the self-renewal for leaders. So there's 3 different approaches, right? So as a leader of your company, you want to ask yourself, how do I disrupt myself before the competitors do? And a question that you can ask is, why do we do it this way? Ask your company, ask your team, why is it that we do it this process? Can we change this process? Can we make it better? Can we make it more efficient? Can we make it more cost effective? Do this before someone else does it for you. The next would be protecting the asset. If you are a leader, you need to treat your energy like capital. You don't have to necessarily get involved into every single thing. In order for you to be the leader and focus on the big picture, you must allow the teams below you, the individuals below you, to run with it. Let them be the executors. Let them be the operators in this position, because for you, you only have so much time in the day and so much energy. And energy goes back to one of our earlier pillars, and we talk about how valuable energy is. And then we have the curate the room. Always, always, always look for feedback. Always audit the room that you're in. Are your direct reports, your C-suite level, are they actually doing the best that they possibly can? Are they actually following these principles of becoming actual good leaders and influencing people as well? Or are they just the individuals that don't have that long-term strategy? Because guess what? At the end of the day, you will become that exact individual. And guess what? You'll be holding the worst bag ever, trying to figure out what happened to my company and why is it declining in the negative. And now, once we've understood the self-renewal, we talk about the legacy audit. So some questions when you want to talk about succession, right, is could your number 2 run the division tomorrow if you completely disappeared? And if the answer is no, then you have just successfully created yourself a job, not a business. And that's what you need to audit, is what are things that I need to put into place today in order for me to leave this company, this business, and everything will work just fine and probably even better. Alignment. This is very important here because a lot of leaders mess this up, is that do your calendar and your bank account values match? The amount of capital, the amount of revenue coming in on certain types of dates, does that match with what you actually have in the bank account as a company? or are you guys completely unaligned with what's coming in and what's going out? Number 3 would be the energy. Do people leave meetings feeling drained or actually fueled? Do they understand clearly and the path forward coming out of meetings? Because if individuals are feeling drained, then that means you're just holding a seminar for them just to be bored out of their mind. Instead, you need to be holding very practical, very simple, but yet effective meetings in order to give guidance and also give the path forward. And lastly, longevity here. Are you building a company that relies on you or one that survives beyond you? I know a lot of individuals, a lot of business owners that have created companies from the start with their own hands. I understand that this company is your baby. I understand that you want this to be yours forever and have all the control. However, you do have to ask yourself, you must give up control in order to grow. How much are you willing to give up to grow? Would you like to stick around and be in the same spot that you are now? Or would you like to see this to be something bigger and larger beyond you? And most business owners, business leaders mess up on this portion here. They believe that they're the only ones that can operate this. But guess what? You're not the only one that can. You can have a great team. You can have a great company of folks that can work together to continue the legacy beyond you. And what you can do is walk away and do something better. Do something different. Try again, try a different business now. And just so you can continue keeping this legacy going and build something better, something new, something different, employ more people, employ more jobs. That is your goal as a leader, is to influence individuals, teach individuals, and then move on to something else. So with that being said, guys, we have come to the end. The system is installed. I have given you 6 pillars of becoming a leader and all of the information, all the strategies, all the guidance that you would need to be the most effective leader in your space. And now it's your responsibility to execute on this. Now, the previous way that we looked at leadership, you may have looked at it of cycles of burnout, reactive firefighting, analysis paralysis, organizational noise, culture by default, success, meaning your status being your titles, how much money you're making. But now the new way that we want to look at after all these pillars is sustained energy, strategic vision, decision velocity, influence and clarity, culture by design, and significance, which is your legacy that you're going to be leaving for this company, for this business, beyond you. So with that being said, guys, I do hope that you all found this to be very useful of all 6 pillars. This series here was meant to be for aspiring leaders or leaders that have already been in leadership positions, but they're looking to learn and develop even more skills to be yet even more effective leaders. And I hope that you all have found this very useful. For those of you who may be going through any of these issues that we've talked about in the previous pillars, please go ahead and click down on the link down below that takes you directly to my website. Schedule some time. Let's talk about how I can come help you in your company and figure out which bottlenecks that we may have, that you may have, that we can fix and get better, so that way you can also leave a legacy behind. So with that being said, guys, thank you all for watching. And with that, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.